Welcome back. So the next is using the partition by command when we create the delta table, and what is the requirement of partition by command. So here if we see the folder content where the data for the delta files is stored, we see the delta file log and the files that store the data of the table. So but let's say if we want to apply a where clause or a filter on our table. So this is our table. Let's say if I want to see the gender data for males or only for the females. So here the processor or the cores will have to go and read all the Parquet files to identify, to filter out the data for male or females. This is not the optimum way to read the files. So to avoid this, we can create the partition. So the partitions are actually determined by what where query we are going to apply on the tables. So let's say if we know that we are going to mostly apply the where clause on gender column, then we can store these contents, separate the male and the female data in separate folders. So when the driver nodes will go and read the data for a particular gender, they will know that this folder has the data for male and the another folder has the data for females. So let's see this in practical. So this is the query to create the table. I'm still using the ctask create table as select star, but I am also using partitioned by and partitioned by gender column. So when I run this query, I will analyze the output of the folder that contains the delta files. So I am expecting that separate folder should be created for each of the gender. So in our case it is male and female. So we should be able to see that male, the data that contains the data for males should be a separate folder and a separate folder for females. So the query has now executed. This is tbl people partitioned. I will run a describe table extended command to exactly know the folder where the data is being stored. Here is the output. So I scroll down and I can see this is the tbfs file storage location. I run this command and now I can see as expected we have a folder for delta log, second folder for gender equal to F, and a separate folder for gender equal to M. Now how does this improve the performance of our table? So let's say we are interested in visualization of this table that only requires the gender equal to M part. So when we will specify the where clause in our query, let's say if I write a query which is select star from this table where gender equal to M. So when I will execute this query, the processor or the driver nodes, because the data has been partitioned, they know that gender equal to M data only lies in this folder. So they are not going to scan the second folder. So this is the reason the queries will run much faster. Thank you.